Power BI automatically creates a date hierarchy for every date column. But this feature quickly becomes limiting in real analytics projects. It's not customizable, it only follows calendar year, and it can clutter your model when you have many date fields. In this lesson, you learn why professionals create a dedicated calendar table and how to generate one using DAX with Calendar and CalendarAuto, and how to extend it with useful fields like week number, weekday, month name, and weekend indicators so you can properly slice and analyze your data. Let's dive in.
Okay, so I have it. Another thing that you should notice, and someone was mentioning things around date.
It was myself.
Usman, yeah. So see this. Let me touch on something now. Power Power BI automatically gives you a date hierarchy. For every date column that you have, it automatically gives you four hidden columns. See here. That's a default feature. When I expand, for every date column, I get how many columns? I get four columns. Yes, and even for the ship date, you can see it here. You get an automatic hierarchy with dates.
I thought
Hierarchy.
this was done in the data modeling about creating a table.
I will
Uh,
come to that next. I will come to that next. But this automatic hierarchy, you just get it within Power BI anyways. Now, this hierarchy, after a while, after you go past a basic data model, does not really help you out much. The reason it does not help you out much is this. It is non-customizable, correct? What if Jeff wants week on week revenue? You don't have a week here. This year is a calendar year. What if you want a fiscal year? What if you want to see something with weekends and public holidays? It's non-customizable and it follows a calendar year. If you want to do something specific, something which deals with your own specific situation, you have to create your own dedicated calendar table, which will have all the columns based on your specific needs. Although this is helpful, but this is also restrictive. Okay, and at the same time, think about this. In a normal data model, you might actually have like 10 date fields. It's not very unusual to have 10 date fields, especially people who are working in logistics. I think someone works in logistics, Aiton. You have so many columns, even in sales and procurement, you have so many dates, right? You have your promise delivery and ship date, and you can have multiple versions of the date. If you start to have this automatic hierarchy with all the date columns, it just becomes noisy, right? So after a while, people also turn it off. That don't give me this automatic hierarchy. I'm going to take the control in my own hands. I'm going to create my own hierarchy that I would want. What is the benefit of a hierarchy, by the way? This is such an important data analysis feature. What does hierarchy allow you to do?
Easy to visualize based on your requirement, years or months.
That's right, but if I have to just say it more specifically, it allows to zoom in and zoom out. A lot of your analysis is you start from a bird eye view and see the big picture. And when you see the bird eye view and you see something good or something bad, something strange, or something that takes your attention, then you decide, okay, in this specific thing, I want to zoom in. Another way to say it is drill up and drill down, right? So hierarchy is the feature that allows you to start from year on year revenue and zoom into a quarter and a month and a day. Okay, I hope um, it makes sense that why people start to see the need of creating their own calendar table. There are many reasons to have a proper calendar table. Tomorrow we are going to discuss some new reasons and it will start to make more sense. But at this point, what you can what you can know is in any proper sophisticated data model, you should have a dedicated calendar table. And that dedicated calendar table should have all the columns that will satisfy your analytical requirement. If you want to perform a public holiday analysis, then it should have public holiday. Someone was working as a workforce analyst. Maybe for that person, having a public holidays and knowing what are the working days versus non-working days is an important requirement. But for someone who does not have that requirement, they will not have those columns. So your calendar table will evolve based on how do you want to slice and dice the data. Now, there are two ways of achieving it. Step number one, especially, and I think this is where a lot of effort is wasted, because most of you come from state government and big government organizations. Before you start creating your own calendar table, it would be worthwhile to check if the calendar table already exists. There is a very high chance that someone within your team or some other team, someone has already done the job. So you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Just find the calendar table and use it. Or maybe find the calendar table which takes you 80% there, and then maybe add the columns that does not exist there, right? It is definitely possible that someone has already done it. Step number two, in worst case scenario, it happens in the small businesses or businesses which are very early in the journey of Power BI or any reporting for that matter. If the calendar table does not exist, you can create one within Power BI. Okay. But before you go to step number two, look for step number one. It will just save a lot of effort. So give me a thumbs up if this makes sense. We are going to spend some time creating the calendar table, and then we will call it a day. And tomorrow morning, we will start with, and everyone will be fresh, we will start with some data modeling theory and problems and solutions. Okay, in this case, we go with step number two, assuming we don't have a calendar table in the organization. We have to build something for ourselves from the scratch. So let's see, how do you do it? Click on the table view, home tab. In the table view, this is one option and this is another option, right? Remember we created a transformation table? This enter data option allows you to enter the data as you would enter in Excel. And then there is this option, allows you to write DAX to create a table, allows you to write DAX formulas to create a table. So let's explore this option, which is creating a new table using DAX. New table. Okay. Let's see some functions. Click inside the formula bar, expand. Calendar. There's a function called calendar. Calendar function allows you to put a start date and the ending date, and it gives you a calendar table. Let's try that out. To put the starting date, just use a function called a date, and then you can put year. Let's say I want to start from 2015, right, 1st of January, then comma, date function again. I want to end at 2024. Month is December 31st. Okay. So you give a starting date, you give an ending date, and it gives you a single column table starting from a starting point and going all the way to the ending date. That's one way of creating a calendar table. Okay. You can see it here. This table also has its own hierarchy. Let's call this table calendar table. As you can see, once you create a calendar table, it gives you a date and time. For us, time is not relevant, so I can change the data type to date. Just give me a thumbs up if you have been able to create this calendar table. This is our first formula, so I just want to go a little slowly. If anyone wants to share screen, it's not working, feel free to do it now. Thank you. Okay. There is another very interesting formula, and probably Usman, who had these questions would love it. There's a formula called calendar auto. Open and close empty bracket and enter. Now this formula does something really amazing. It scans your data model. It scans like all the fields inside the data model, finds the minimum date and finds the maximum date, and then it stretches the boundary a little bit. From the minimum date, it starts at 1st of January of the year, and maximum date, it starts at 31st of December of the year, right? So basically, if the minimum date is 3rd of April 2016, it goes to 1st of January 2016. If your last date is, we are on 22nd of April 2024, it takes us to 31st of December 2024. And this is dynamic, by the way. as your data set changes, it will expand. So you don't have to maintain it. It will expand itself. Calendar auto. And by default, it follows calendar year, right? Which is 1st of January up till 31st of December. What if you want to change the end of fiscal year? There is a little, see that inside the bracket, see this fiscal year end month? Some of you might actually be working from July till June. If that is the case, you can just put 6 here. 6 represents the 6th month, which is June. So it starts from July. Just do like a quick check. Okay. Okay. But there's one little problem, it still does not follow a proper, fiscal year hierarchy. See, even if I have this, still my Q1 goes from January, February, and March, and Q3. So ideally, this should be quarter one, right? In a way that you would expect a fiscal calendar to work. So although you can change the starting and the ending point, but still it does not fix this hierarchical issue that becomes evident when you use a visual. Anyways, this is something for tomorrow. The point I'm making is, although you can end at a fiscal year, still the hierarchical problem will exist because the quarter does not start magically from Q1. Like that does not happen. Okay. Now, once you have a dedicated calendar table, now you can build other columns based on your requirements. Some of the common ones that people would want to do would be maybe have a weekend, right? Maybe have something like public holidays, maybe have a fiscal year. So we are going to discuss some common scenarios. Let's actually see some of the common things. What if you want the week number? Let's deal with some common scenarios. If I want the week number, I don't really have a week here in an automatic hierarchy. How can I create it? Which means you can create new columns. Right click, create a new column. There is a formula called week number. Week number. It will take the date as an input argument. So I will just put date. That right. And also, by the way, I'm going to remove this 6. So my date table is like a normal date table which follows like normal calendar, and we are going to deal with other situations. Okay, and that's your week number. As you can see, it starts from Sunday and it goes till Saturday, correct? What if you want to start that from Monday? You go inside, you put, I think, 1, week begins on Sunday, and I think if you go and see the 2, right, see, this week begins on Monday. So if I put a 2 here and bracket close, right, now week begins on Monday, keeps going. How can I write something like W1 and W2 instead of 1 and 2? I can also do something like this, W, and that's your concatenation. Just give me a thumbs up if this is working for you. Thanks, Kushal. All right, let's create one more
Sorry,
column.
I'm getting an error. But is that mine wants to call it because I've called it calendar table instead of just calendar.
Yeah, just call it calendar.
So rename the table.
Let's create one more column. Right click, new column. There is also a formula called week number. It takes date as an input, which is your calendar date column, comma. So week number, not week number, sorry, my apologies. Week day, right? Weekday. Week number we have just used. It will take date as an input and comma. If I just close it, it gives you 1 for Sunday, and then 2 for Monday, 3 for Tuesday, so on and so forth. And then it restarts back from Sunday. If you want to start it from Monday instead, you can just put a comma 2. That's your optional argument, right? When you put a 2, it resets from Monday, right? That's all it means. And then it keeps going till Sunday. If you don't put a 2 here, the default is it resets on Sunday. What can you do with this?
This is what I used to do the KPI calculation.
Yeah, you can actually you can use this 6 and 7. You can say if this number is greater than equals to 6, correct? It is a weekend. Otherwise, it's a weekday. You can do if this is greater than equals to 6, which is basically your Saturday and Sunday, weekday, weekend, weekday. Does the logic make sense? Now, if you want to slice and dice your reporting based on weekend and weekdays, you can do it because this column can allow you to slice and dice. If you want to see a trend just over the weekends, you can see it.
Can you post that for me in the chat?
Yeah, copy and paste.
Thanks.
And you can break it down in two steps. You know, one you can use the number column, and then you can use the number column to create this formula. How can I have the day of? How can I have like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday?
Please tell me again from that number representing 1, 2, 3.
Day of the week, basically. There's a formula which is very powerful. Day of the week. Let's have day of week. A very powerful formula is format. It allows you to extract the text out of the date. So I give date as an input argument. And if I want to extract the day of the week, I just put 3Ds, right? It extracts the text out of the date. So I'm creating these columns that might allow me, if I just want to see my revenue just for the Friday, I can put a slicer and I can slice it for the Friday. You can also think of it as how do I want to slice and dice and categorize and segment my data? What is important for me? And you create those columns based on those rules. How can I have name of a month? See few things how you can use this formula. If I put 4Ds, it will give me full name of the month, correct? If I put 3M, it will give me, sorry, 4Ds will give me full name of the day. 3M, name of the month. 4M, correct? You can also do something like this. See this? I can combine year and month together. I can do things like MMM dash YYYY. Okay. And then you can do a comma DDD. It's quite flexible. For now, I'm going to use it for the day of the week.